Take the lead is in your walls.
Take the lead is in your walls.
This platform serves as a space for engagement designed to equip young people to become effective leaders. They are actively contributing, creatively engaged, and determined in various fields. And now, this is Take the Lead.
Hello to you, our valued listeners and viewers. Thank you for your loyalty to West Africa Democracy Radio. Take the Lead, your youth exchange platform. It's back this week with a new topic. In this episode, we will talk about self-confidence and its importance in the professional world. In short, stay with us live on 94.9 FM and on our online platform on Facebook, WADR English Service, on YouTube at WADR. Also send in your comments. We will read them on the program today. Now, how many young people today struggle to find employment? However, they may have skills, the abilities in them, but when it comes to giving their all and getting results is the problem. This is precisely the aspect that we will address with our guests today. Joining us as our studio guests are specialists in personnel development and some young, brilliant people who will also be sharing their experiences about this subject. But before hearing from them, let's hear what some young people in Sierra Leone think about self-confidence.
Asma Nyanga James, and I'm a pupil schooling here in Sierra Leone. From my perspective, confidence means boldness, braveness, believing in yourself and believing in others too, that you can do it and you can do something that will change the world.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Rebecca Mahoy and I am a lawyer. To me, I think what helps me to build my self-confidence is self-affirmation, the first one. I wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I'm capable. There is nothing that if I put my heart and hands to it that I won't be able to achieve. Second thing to help you build your self-confidence is to work on the things that affect your self-confidence. Perhaps you want to be a public speaker and you're a stammerer, or you want to be a public speaker but you're shy. Those are the things that tend to affect your self-confidence. So whatever those things are, try to work on them. And the third is to set goals, and the fourth is to celebrate your strength and to work on your weakness.
My name is Raymond Saidu. I live in Sierra Leone.
How does self-confidence help a young person?
Well, self-confidence will help a young person in different ways. It helps you to actualize your dream, reach your potential in life, and having self-confidence will make you break limits. Nothing will stop you or limit you from achieving something at the end of the day.
Hi, I'm Sureta Ndumbuya. I'm a pupil schooling here in Sierra Leone.
Sureta, what area of your life do you have confidence in? And what aspects would you love to build confidence?
I'm very confident in my studies. I know that if I sit down and study well, then definitely I can make it. But I do know that I also have a lot of work to do with my debating skills and speaking skills. So sometimes I know what I can say, but it doesn't come out well.
So what could be a recommendation to young people who lack self-confidence?
Self-confidence, the reason why people lack it is because they are afraid that maybe they may fail. But that is a wrong mentality. Failure is not a disgrace. You can fail and do it again. So you can just put yourself out there knowing, maybe if I do not do well today, next time when I do, I'll do well tomorrow.
Thanks to Samuel Lucinin for engaging the views of some young students there in Sierra Leone. Now, listeners and viewers, in studio with me today is Lucrece Roxanne Manomba Ondu, a Gabonian student at the Superior Informatics Institute in Dakar, Senegal. Let me greet you, Roxanne. How are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Augustine. I'm doing well. What about you?
Well, I'm okay.
That's great.
It's good to have you here today.
Oh, the pleasure is mine too.
Wow. Next is Zocha Edmond Darren, also a student of the Superior Informatics Institute here in Dakar. Let me greet you, Edmond. How are you doing? And welcome.
Hello, Mr. Augustine. How are you?
Well, I'm blessed. It's good to have you.
Thanks.
All right. We also have in studio Christopher, our teacher. Of course, Christopher is a Ghanaian and assistant producer here at the West Africa Democracy Radio. Welcome, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, Augustine. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. That's not all, because we have life coaches sharing the platform with us today. One of them is Fatou Janet, the TVET focal point at the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology in the Gambia. How are you doing, Madam Janet? Fatou Janet, how are you doing? Well, I think we kind of facing some difficulties with our technician in the studio, but we will continue. So we will basically get back to them once everything is sorted out. Let's begin with the young people, particularly you, Roxanne. As let's say, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
so, Roxanne, please, you be the first to share your understanding with us about self-confidence.
Okay, Mr. Augustine, thank you for the question. In my view, self-confidence is an attitude of belief about your abilities. It means to know yourself, what you can do, what you can do. And it's also the abilities to handle criticism, and also what can I say it, to handle criticism and the abilities to face up to trouble, whatever is the adversity.
Facing up to trouble, that's a strong one. I will get back to you because too many troubles are out there, as young people. But let's cross over to you, Edmond. In case you also want to explain your own understanding about self-confidence, I would like you to also tell us, what do you think are some keys in developing and maintaining strong self-confidence, particularly maybe in the professional area?
Thank you, Mr. Augustine. What I can say about self-confidence is that it's just having trust in your abilities and decisions, and even words. Even though we can face the different difficulties, but that cannot make us to lack our confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
That should not, hold you down. It shouldn't tear you down. Hold on to your confidence.
Exactly.
What's about you, Christopher, our teacher?
Well, thank you very much, Augustine. So, self-confidence, I believe, is the ability to understand and appreciate your SWOT. You talked about SWOT, and you're talking about your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats as well. And so, ability to identify all of those and then being able to focus more on your strength is what I believe is self-confidence. Where when someone wants to make you know that, look, you have this weakness, you already make the person understand that, look, I know I have this weakness, but I am still improving on my weakness while focusing more on my strength. So all of these, I believe that would have to be about self-identity, self-realization, where you definitely know who you are, so that you cannot be other people's self. A lot of young people are living in other people's self, where they are not themselves. So you ask them who are they, and they tell you that I feel I am this person. Okay. Meanwhile, they obviously would be the very first of their kind. But because they've not been able to identify, they've not been able to do the SWOT analysis on their personality, to know where their strength is, so that they focus more on it, to know where their weaknesses are, so that they work on it, and to know the opportunities that they have, so that they develop it more, and then identify the threat around it. So they rather live in the shadows of other people. So self-confidence, in short, identifying your SWOT and then improving on each of them.
Right, identifying your slot and improving on each of them. Can we now check on our life coaches joining us today? Madam Fatou Janan, how are you doing? And welcome to the UFOD platform.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. And happy to join you in this.
Okay. You have some young people also on the platform today and across the continent monitoring you. Would you mind sharing with us some tips about maintaining self-confidence, especially highlighting young people's involvement?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. I think for me, major tips, just like the previous speaker had mentioned, is for one to have that self-esteem, if you like, being aware of who you are. I know in some instances, people would, there are people who are of the view that, the way we are born, sometimes, maybe being less self-confident could be attributed to our genes, maybe the way we kind of inherit. But again, others are of the view that it is the mindset. And also sometimes the way you are treated in any given circumstance. It can be in your workplace or even at home among families and, even in society. But for me, some of the tips, I think what I would like to tell young people is the very critical thing as a person to develop or to build self-confidence is to say to yourself, I am who I am. This is me. That self-assertiveness. I mean, having to say to yourself, I am who I am. That will give you, I think for me, that is very critical, especially for women, for young girls. Okay. Being aware of yourself, having that assertiveness to say no or yes. I mean, or to have independent, to be able to make independent decisions.
Okay.
We really boost one's self-confidence.
Thank you, Mam Fatou Janan. We also have another life coach. Quickly, he's Honorable Pa Malik Sise, a former parliamentarian for Lower Salom constituency in the Gambia. Honorable Sise, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Just share light on, the impacts quickly. What impact does self-confidence have, especially on career development?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think self-development starts with oneself. One must feel self-confident in what you do. You must feel confident in pursuing your goals when it is set on the right goal. So for one to venture in any career development, there must be some targets that you want to meet that you should set for yourself. And in so doing, the honors lies on you as an individual person. What do I want to achieve? And why should I get into this kind of goal so that I'll be able to achieve what I want?
Okay.
So, and in so doing, you don't need to compare yourself with people. You have to look at what you want and try to set your eyes on the success individuals' stories that you can emulate so that you can get where you want to be.
Thank you, Honorable Sise. Now back here in studio, Roxanne, please, I would like to know, do you have self-confidence? What are areas you have confidence in, and in what aspect of your life you will love to build your self-confidence?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Augustine, for the question. Yeah, I have confidence in myself in the intellectual area of my life. Yeah, I know I'm bright. I know I'm intelligent. I know my intelligence can help me to learn anything I want in the world: literature, sciences, philosophy, and anything else. However, one of my Another area I don't trust into myself is when I'm called to speak, to take the floor in public places. I'm still working on that.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, of course. I'm working on that, and this is the reason why I'm here today, to face up to this fear, you know.
So like addressing a crowd, facing the public, it's a kind of challenge for you. But do you believe that you can overcome that?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right. Edmund.
Yes, sir.
What are your own studies of your life in terms of your strength and where you want to build your confidence?
Okay, I can say that I started building myself step by step. What I want to say is that like a model, because I started the career like a professional model, and I'm learning how people can stand in front of the public, and their posture and all of that. What I was not able to do before. Now I'm just learning it step by step also, and you cannot do that type of thing if you don't have the strength appropriate for that.
All right, that's great. For you, Chris, I would like to ask you this question. Have you ever encountered situations where a lack of self-confidence hindered your professional progress? Can you explain to us?
Yeah, I really think so, because growing up, I'd wanted to do three things. In fact, I've always been torn in three professions. First of all, to be a footballer. 2, to be an actor, and 3, to be a journalist. I happen to be doing the very third one. But the second one, which is acting, yes, I still love to act. I remember once upon a time I went for audition. It was one big audition in Ghana, Netflix. I went and then look, I saw people who like they pose themselves like they are giants in the game already, reading their script. And when I appeared before the judges, I knew that I had learnt my lines. I had really memorized my lines that I could really deliver. Man, I saw the judges, and then I don't know where this fear came from.
Oh,
Man,
you got frightened.
I got frightened instantly. And so that experience, of course, is what has really helped me a lot to know that anytime I'm going for auditions again, look, I'm so confident. I'm like, anything can really happen. I'm just going to in there and then give off my best. And you see, as oftentimes, I like what Roxanne said, that her greatest fear is the fact that standing before people is her greatest fear. And so coming on air for the whole world to really listen to you is a big task that she knows that is her weakness, and so she's actually facing it head on. That is a great step to really improving one's self-confidence. And from here, look, she can go everywhere. And so in my case, for instance, aside that particular audition stuff, I think I've been able to meet a lot of people. I then developed the habit of even emceeing at great events. Okay. And so that particular failure did not really stop me there. Okay. And so anytime we fail, we must always know that it is one step to build our confidence the more. Because you need to go through it to have the experience so that it can be a testimony to other people. So when they tell you that, look, I don't know how to do that, to make you understand that it is normal if you fail for the first time. Okay. But it is bad if you make that failure rather overcome you for you to stay down there. You need to overcome the failure so that becomes your stepping ground to being who you really want to be.
Interesting. Let's go to one of our life coaches, and that's Madam Janet. Please, I would like to know, are there specific or particular techniques or are there specific trainings that one needs to go through to build his or her self-confidence?
Thank you again. For me, I think since self-confidence has to come from within, yes, they can train you. You can train yourself also by always saying to yourself, yes, I can. I think I can. Because sometimes not being able to do a task doesn't really mean you are a novice. Doesn't really mean you are stupid, but it's a challenge for you to, develop more and try more, keep on trying. Because remember the saying, those who have never made a mistake are those who have never tried anything new. So taking that risk, risk-taking and having a set goals. Because remember, the higher your target, the more you develop. But if you are, that content type who doesn't care, you are just comfortable being at the bottom, you will never go to the middle and, of course, not up. So I think everything is having to just set goals and the mindset that I can do it. The key word here, I can. And once you tell yourself, you convince, because it has to come from within the person, him or herself. I can do this, and obviously you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The self-motivation, if you like. Yeah. One has to have the self-motivation. Motivate yourself from within, because people cannot. Yes, people can. And of course, surround yourself with those very positive people who will not always pull you down, because sometimes those negative friends would always make you feel you are, those toxic. And sometimes you see even a toxic work environment, having those kind of bosses who don't see anything good in you. But like I said, the best thing is build your career, develop that confidence, and then keep working harder and meeting deadlines. Definitely one day you will get there. For me, that's the best way.
All right, thank you. Crossing over to you, Mr. Cisse. In your opinion, what would be some consequences of a professional environment where confidence is neglected?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you please repeat the question? There is noise behind there.
Yes, I'm concerned as to what will be some consequences of a professional environment where self-confidence is neglected.
Yes, like for instance, if you operate in an environment that is highly professional and being guided by legal instruments, so all that you need to do is to ensure that you find yourself fitting within the environment and be confident on the decision that you're going to take. You need to have self-confidence, like anyone else in that environment. Yes, if one can do it, I can do it. If you are a senior management member, you must have the belief that if the management can do it, why not me? If the director can do it, why not me? Because at the end of the day, they are all human beings. They have 5 common sense. They have set targets for themselves and they meet their goals. You as an individual, you must set targets for yourself in a professional environment and say, yes, if they can do it, I'll do it. And you have to set yourself individual targets and you meet your targets by yourself. Then once those goals, those targets are given to you, you should be able to meet your targets. I think like self-motivations and have that personal zeal, courage within yourself is very important to operate within a professional environment.
All right. Thank you. So far, we are listening to interesting experiences from our guests on this second edition of Take the Lead in the year 2025. Let's now travel to Nigeria for just 2 minutes and also listen to what some young Nigerians have to say about building self-confidence. Then we come back to the second and final half of this edition.
Hello, my name is Oluwatosin Adeodu. I am a Nigerian, a podcaster, and a business owner. I have confidence. My strengths are in public speaking, problem solving, leadership. I can also say I'm a very confident cook. However, I would like to build more confidence in financial literacy. As a business owner, I see that as something that I must have my skill set in. As a woman in business, I have to be stronger when it comes to planning for my finances and taking decisions financially.
My name is Afolabi Ezekiel Oluwafumilola, and I'm a sport analyst. Well, I have confidence in my oral and vocal ability because in the past, I used to be shy, facing crowds. But over time now, I've spoken to thousands of people. I face crowd now. There's nothing to worry about. So I think I have confidence in that area. I would like to build confidence in non-sport related topics because in as much as I know much about entertainment, I know much about music. But the other niche I don't know much about, so I want to build confidence in those areas because sometimes when I talk about these things, I'm like, Ezekiel, I'm not saying the wrong thing.
Hi, my name is Pisi Wandedo, and I'm currently serving in Nasarawa State, Nigeria. I have confidence to contribute my own opinion on any issue or any topic raised. Either my response is wrong or it's right. I just have this confidence to be able to stand and air my own point. My advice to people that lacks confidence is that you should believe in yourself. You can do it. Don't let what people say get to you. Your mind is your power. It's your strength. That's where your confidence erupts from. So anything you put your mind to do, just know that you can absolutely do it.
My name is Suraya Abubakar, Voice of Nigeria, Abuja. Honestly, I would say in a young person, see growing up, trying to, figure out where the left or right is, I would say self-confidence helps in better decision making. You know if this particular decision you make really affects you, really affects your future and all, you'll be able to decide what is right, what is wrong for yourself without being influenced, Self-confidence also helps in greater academics and professional, successes.
All right, those were some young Nigerians talking about self-confidence. So welcome back to Take the Lead, your exceptional platform that highlights all things about young people's livelihoods. We are streaming live on YouTube at WADR and on Facebook, WADR English Service, worldwide on WADR.org. So far, we have Kabina Escobar from Liberia watching. He says he's watching. Thank you. You can also do the same by sending in your comments, and we will recognize you. Let's now focus quickly on self-confidence and stress management. Sometimes people are stressed, then they don't have the confidence again. But for you, Roxanne, how is it like for you? And what do you make of that, where a person is stressed and then they don't have that confidence again? What do you think will happen?
So first of all, I get a very big breath. Yeah. After that, I start to remember my past successes and talk to myself by saying, if I could do it before, I'm still able to do so today. I just have to trust again, see what is the problem, how can I resolve it, and try to find strategy to resolve this problem and keep fighting.
Okay, for you, Edmond?
What can I say is that first you should know where you came from and where you are now, because it's from that idea that you can settle yourself and go forward in every aspect of your professional or activities.
Okay. Now, for you, Chris, do you have any strategies or tips that people who are feeling stressed and yet they need to perform, especially in the professional environment, like even at their job site, what do they do? What should they do in terms of overcoming the stress, then to also face self-confidence?
Right. So it's in three: stress, fatigue, or being tired, and then being depressed. Depressed is a very terrible stage that we pray we don't get there. But being tired and being stressed because of work activities of the day, you just have to take back a little, just take 1 or 2 breaths or some relaxation at that particular point in time, and then you'll be able to get renewed energy to go on once again on the task. But if it is the stage of depression, then that is extreme. But just being tired, just being fatigued, just being stressed because of the whole day's activity, maybe you had a lot of work on you and yet you still have to finish a particular task, i.e. you need to make a particular presentation, you need to say to yourself that, look, I am in charge and everyone is watching me. This I am in charge quote, it was my lecturer who said it to me, or he said it to the class, Mr. Tim Kwashigan of GIJ. He said that when you're on air, everyone is listening to you, so you are in charge. And so if it is a presentation that you need to go and do, and you stress because of the day's activity, and then it is in the evening I need to do that presentation, you just have to take some 1 or 2 step back and then just refreshen up yourself and say to yourself, I am in charge. I need to do this and then get it off my hands so that I can have enough rest for the day. If you follow the back that I am tired, I am stressed, and therefore I cannot really deliver, it would affect your confidence even during the performance of that particular task.
Okay. So let me rephrase this question before we come to getting your recommendations for the young people on the continent. Now to Madam Janet, does stress resort to one's ability to be to lack self-confidence? Does stress resort to the lack of self-confidence in a person?
Yes, it does. For me, I would say it does. But in a stress moment, what the person needs is counseling. That is why the career counseling is very critical, especially in academic settings and even in workplace. And I think if you remember, I earlier mentioned, surrounding oneself with even positive, if you like, colleagues, friends, business partners is very critical. Because in those stress moments, that is why people go into all negative listening, because they are stressed out and there's no one to bail them out. So if a person is stressed, what he or she needs is counseling, and even that, kind of that counseling therapy would do for me, and having other form of support, kind of making the person wake up from that. Because sometimes, especially for young women, not because I'm a woman, but women especially go through, a lot of stress. For example, you have divorce cases, you have young adolescence itself is stressful, and sometimes you have peer influence and all kind of things. So if a person is in that, I think for me, the main thing is counseling. Counseling and counseling.
All right, Madam Jana says counseling. What about you, Mr. Cisse? What the person needs to do?
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation and the environment that the person finds himself. Like, for instance, the setting that I am working as the Duke of Edinburgh International, where we deal with young people who have already served their jail terms and they are back in society. We have the migrant returnees, we have divorcees, we also have the commercial sex workers and those from ghettos. So sometimes you have them in school and you definitely know these people, they have stress in themselves, particularly our young mothers who really have their children at home, no father and no helpers. So to deal with those kind of people, and the way you help them to recover is to give them hope that, like, these are things sometimes that are normal, even though when it is not normal, you have to make them believe that these are normal things. And it's not only you who went through this thing. There are people that, in fact, who are talking to you, they are going things that are more, in fact, terrible or more difficult to the circumstances that they face. In that line, they're beginning to realize and understand they are not alone in that situation. There are people around them who are in that thing. And in so doing, you must relate it to people that they are in the same class with, or people that have at least a higher or a bigger status than them, so that they're able to realize that, yes, if these people can get out from this stress, or this somebody can get out from this situation, why not me? So they need to understand that, particularly those of us dealing with the migrant returnees. Look, you try, you couldn't make it. You try, you couldn't make it. You sell property. You do all kind of stuff. When you come back home, the debt that you took is waiting for you. The police is waiting for you. The state is waiting for you. So you have to make them believe that you are not going on a bad journey. You venture on a journey that you want to make success. You want to help yourself, help your family and your communities. So you bring them back to life, and then you try to help them up. I think it's more of being positive to them. They have a rightful mind and the approach. Basically, it's just a matter of linking them with people that are positive, people that make positive lives in them.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So we will just begin the process of recommendation with our life coaches. Then we conclude right here in the studio. So we stick with you, Mr. Cisse. There are young people on the African continent. They're listening to you right now. Many of them are stressed, but yes, they still want to be, confident in what they do. And many of them are facing other situations. It could not only be in the workplace, it could be in the community, it could be in the schools, where they are in the streets and whatsoever, they will need those pieces of advice from you. What can you tell them?
So I just want to tell my fellow young people in the continent that, like, wherever you find yourself in Africa, Africa are always the same. So what you can make in the US, what you can make in the UK or in Canada or any part of Europe or Americas, you can make that in Africa. But it depends on the mindset that you have. You must believe in yourself. You must associate yourself with positive minds, with positive vibes. So sometimes most of the African young people, they believe that they have is you're gonna make it in Africa. So and they quickly jump onto the opposition line. I think it's important we discuss this. You just fresh from school, you just fresh from the university, you're trying to look for a career, you're trying to look for a job, and you just carry yourself on the social media. Sometimes if you have that passive mind that everything is bad in your country, no one is good, it's very difficult to realize your potential in that environment because you have already toxic the environment by yourself. You already believe that nothing good, nothing works for you. So basically, I would advise them, when you are in the academic sector, try to learn skills alongside. Once you graduate from the university, from college, or from any other professional bodies, you can venture in any skill of yourself. And I would also love to say this. As a young politician, I will encourage my young African brothers and sisters to engage into politics. Let them go into politics. Let them go into politics and participate into politics. Let them take responsibility. Once you are not part of the system, it's difficult to change the system. If you are outside the system, you will begin to believe that everything is bad, everything is wrong. Okay. But please be part of the system so you're able to correct the system. I'll encourage them, let them have positive mind. And finally, on this, I would recommend let them stay away from drugs. Let them stay away from drugs. Let them do things that are going to help them.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Janda, you are an educator. And many of these things around young people, children coming up from the school, you people breed them up to become responsible leaders, mature and building self-confidence. What would you like to say to the young people regarding this topic?
Well, what I would tell young people is for them to identify their potentials. Just the saying, every star has a silver lining. Let the young people, start things modest. I mean, in this generation, everybody is in a hurry. I want to go, and I think that's what is leading to a lot of issues. Okay. So let them realize that they have the potential, but again, having to discover, that potential, that what they can do best is also critical. Let them have a think around this. Sit down as a young lady, guy, and say to yourself and ask yourself questions. What can I do best? What do I want to do? How do I want to do it? And you see, once you try to think around this, and you can really, it's a starting point for one to move. But honestly, every star has a silver lining. Once you know that he can do that, but I know I am also gifted in one thing, let me realize that and build on that and then become what I want in future. And I think with that, they can excel. Everybody can excel. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Christopher, our teacher, given your story and your life experience, what can you tell your fellow young man or the young females out there?
All right, so I have two things. First of all, understand that it's time and process. While you wait for the appropriate time, you still put in the work in developing yourself so that when opportunity meets preparations, it becomes a straight up success. While you wait for time, don't just fold your hands without not doing anything. And two, I'll talk about factors that would enable people develop their confidence, i.e. from the home, because that is the first point of socialization. If at home, parents and elderly people are always shutting the child down, do not talk, and then they always make you feel like you are always the person who is at fault, not really hearing your side of the story. That is one that would obviously clamp the child from even, it would put intimidation, it would make the child become timid, and then that would obviously affect the person's growth and confidence as well growing up. And so parents should be very, very careful about that, because that is a big factor that kills lots of confidence among young people today.
Thank you, Chris. Edmund, what are your recommendations?
Well, what I can say for my brothers and sisters is to be consistent, because consistency is one of the keys of success. That makes people to improve day to day and improve their way of doing their things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Edmund. Roxanne, it's up to you.
Yeah, regarding to that topic, I will say to my brothers that failure, ignorance, or fear are opportunities for us to get more experience, to learn more about us with a view to awake the king or the queen who is sleeping inside us, to awake them with a view to get stronger, get a winner, live our real life by being ourselves. Self-confident.
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you on the program as our life coach today, Mr. Pa Malik Sise. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Madam Fatu Janet.
Thank you too.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Edmund.
Thank you too.
All right, and Roxanne, thank you as well.
You're welcome, Mr. Augustine.
All right. So, well, listeners and viewers, this is where we conclude the second edition of Take the Lead here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM, on YouTube at WADR, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and worldwide on WADR.org. Sincere gratitude to have you, and please join us next Friday for another live episode of this program. Remember to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people in Africa. My name is Augustine Belkali, wishing you all the best.
We thank you for listening to this program in Nigeria on Darling FM 107.3 Owerri, Southeast. We thank our listeners in Liberia on Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Nufa County, Kwakete Radio 100.9 FM, Bargan.